our adventurers have rescued Princess Violet Kadaph. Thomas had tried to end the violence, claiming to have elven blood coursing through his veins. Even a person far removed from their elven heritage can be the ticket to a lifetime of wealth. He had hoped to trade places with the princess to get her to safety, but the kidnappers tried to have their elf and keep the princess for ransom. Even though the attempt at deception backfired, our brave adventurers successfully defeated experienced mercenaries and the powerful mage capable of healing magic. The sounds of ship-to-ship combat outside the hold kept them from escaping back through the tunnels. So instead, Thomas and Kodrog explored the tomb while Captain Harris watched over their young noble. Thomas discovered a wall of books, handwritten journals encrypted by cipher. Kodrog stumbled across the key in a room just outside holding ceremonial elven weapons. The chakram was the only battle-ready weapon in the room, and along its edge held elven script, 2 sets of their alphabet, which held the code to decrypt the journals. Thomas realized that these journals were written by many elven refugees, who were helped to safety by the human laid to rest in the tomb. They told stories of how the dangerous journey to freedom, and how the humble merchant from Lycania arranged safe passage. They knew he risked his life 100 times over to help the elves, and when he passed away, they honored his memory by ensuring all elves who came through this refuge would know of his great deeds on their behalf. The painted silk tapestries hanging on the walls were also a coded message. They showed the elves the way to get to their next step of the journey. In the last journal entry, though, dated almost a century previous, the writer told anyone reading it that the tomb was no longer safe, as miners established a colony on the hold. In order to keep the wrong eyes from discovering where the elves went, they tore out any mention of it in the journals, and cut the last tapestry that would have helped the other refugees find it. But there were still more secrets to discover in the tomb. Princess Violet triggered a hidden door to open behind the tapestry of the Lycanian Nebula. Beyond the door, the adventurers found a beautiful relic of elven technology. A white, small yacht with silver leaf filigree starting from the bow and branching down its hull, its sails made of woven gold. Kodrog found a strange mechanical device below decks that looked as if it may drive the small ship. But the biggest surprise by far was how the ship responded to Princess Violet's presence. It came to life as if it had been waiting for her. Kodrog, Thomas, and Captain Harris were shocked. The captain believes he knows why, but there was no time to discuss it with Thomas and Kodrog in that moment. Instead, they collected their dead, stowed them aboard the yacht, and managed to sail out of the hidden dock with minimum damage, before they realized there was a manual override. We join our adventurers as they make their approach to the Amber Falls. Princess Violet has fallen asleep, exhausted from her ordeal. Captain Harris leaves her to rest and calls to Kodrog and Thomas to discuss their next course of action.
Yeah.
We are making a couple of assumptions that you guys are still on the small vessel,
yes,
heading back around the hold. You guys have left. You're heading toward the ship, and so this is a private moment where the captain has a chance to talk to the two of you prior to getting back to the Amber Falls.
The captain, as he calls you both to the top deck by the keel, is that what it's called?
Helm.
The helm, thank you. He's like, we need to get our stories straight.
What exact story would you like?
Well,
Captain?
that's what I'm hoping we can come to an agreement on. You see, I have a feeling that if we tell the whole truth, there's going to be a lot more questions than we want to have answers for.
Understandable.
That's fair.
perhaps we just keep it as simple as we can. We went to rescue the princess, found her captors, and were lucky enough to find a vessel to escape on as well.
Where, though? You know that the whole entire crew is going to ask where, Kodrog.
In an abandoned cavern, next to where the kidnappers died.
We could maybe say that they had a secondary escape ship.
Oh. They were planning to escape on it.
Like a double cross of a double cross.
Yeah.
The main problem I have with any of this is anybody who has a idea of Elven heritage and everything like that. I mean, unless it was just us that figured it out, but how else are we going to drive the ship? Or, I'm sorry, man it.
I suppose if we keep it in this manual override mode, we may not need to have anyone handle the controls.
It's still going to react to the princess, though. I mean, yes, it's in manual, but I feel like it will still react to her presence or any other Elven heritage.
Well, I'm sure that the princess would not mind staying aboard until we get to port. And then no one needs to know that it only works when she's on it.
I think perhaps if we dock on the ship side of the Ember Falls instead of the Void dock, we might avoid any unwanted eyes, perhaps? At least from the hold.
And then you just...
Hide her from view. Yeah, and then people can ask questions, but they don't have to have the true answer. They might suspect, but not knowing, it's just suspicion.
Yes, we could say that perhaps we've found the ship and Kodrog flew it with the help of Thomas's magic.
Thomas's powerful magic.
Thomas flips through his magical tome and he goes, "Yeah, okay." I'm not gonna straight up say that I can't lift a ship with levitate or anything, but don't think I can make it work completely.
It's okay. No one understands magic. You can do anything with it. Can't you?
Keep telling yourself that, Kodrog. Keep telling yourself that.
Well, I think that Kodrog's onto something. Most people don't give a second look at a magic caster once they know it's magic. Very few people question it other than perhaps other wizards.
That's fair.
And they're rare enough. I don't think we'll find one on this rock.
Well,
except me.
You managed to.
Well,
you may have managed to take out the only other magic user that was on this rock. So, I think
with any luck.
True. Which brings me to another point. Princess Violet. I don't believe that he knew what he had when they kidnapped the princess.
Oh.
I don't believe I know what he had either, sir.
Excellent.
Other than the princess.
If they did know, they wouldn't have agreed to my con anyway.
True.
But yeah, following Kodrog's blatant lie. Yes. I know nothing of it.
Whatever the secret is, it's safe with us. And I'll reach up and slap Thomas on the shoulder.
I'm gonna say that because you're probably stronger than Thomas, that Thomas juts forward a little bit. Because the image in my head is great.
I am absolutely stronger than Thomas.
Oh, definitely.
So the captain nods. He smiles like a very small smile, and looks at Thomas and is like, Thomas, you're concerned.
Yes. Well, when you have a princess and one that is also Elven heritage, not only are you going to get people that will hunt her down if they know what she is, but I'm more concerned of the people of the ship.
I agree.
You may trust them completely, and to me to some extent, but having that amount of money, I feel like anyone would go for it if they had the chance. Most people would.
I trust my crew. However, your point is valid. I think...
I'm also concerned of the location itself. This is a massive rock of history that I would rather not anyone desecrate or sell anything in it.
Okay. How could we do that?
Perhaps if there are any abandoned tunnels that lead to that area, we can maybe stake a claim on the, exhausted mine, and then by proxy the secret room attached to it.
That is true, and Thomas, you did actually mention that to the mapper. When
I did, yes.
perhaps we can go back with coin and convince him that we were serious.
Yeah, because now it's the best interest of the crown.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That sounds excellent.
Excellent.
Okay, cool.
So I am not going to. The captain will, kind of get his. He smiles at the idea. It's like, oh yes, we're going to keep that a secret. This is wonderful. But then he gets his serious face. Is like, I am not even going to tell my most trusted officers about what we've discovered. This is, as far as I'm concerned, something that will die with the three of us.
Aye, Captain.
Thomas will actually do the same thing. He'll go, "Hey, Captain."
Okay.
And it's decided. They clap up his hands.
That seriously just looked like you self-high-fived yourself. Like, yeah!
Now, do we cut each other's hands and bleed in each other?
Do we spit in each other's hands and shake each other's hands?
If that would make you feel better, I suppose we
No,
could, but
Thomas would never.
I don't really like bleeding my own blood.
And I think I've bled enough of my own, too.
Yeah. Thomas, he looks fine according to my notes, but I do remember getting shot in the shoulder.
I think the captain
Yeah,
also got
really
hit once,
a
too,
nice-
so...
Gouge.
Cut wound through
Like-
your shoulder. Captain got stabbed and
Yeah,
sliced a bit.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, we're
And
coming
then
back quite
Kodrog's got a
injured.
crossbow bolt in his chest.
Yes,
A smash
Is that
mark
still
on
in
his
your chest?
face.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
He's been
yeah.
Stabbed a couple of times.
I would imagine, as they agree not to leak this secret, Thomas just looks over at Kodrog and he goes, Do you want assistance with that? Does that hurt at all? I mean, I feel like it looks like it hurts.
It does still hurt.
Oh yes, I look down at it and I say, well, I think it missed the important stuff, but I'd rather not pull it out so the doctor can spit on me.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible idea. So the doctor can spit on me.
I mean, tend to it.
Hmm.
Everyone knows the doctor spits on people, right?
He definitely will
Yeah.
spit on you.
Yeah.
He's agreed that one of these days he needs to spit in my mouth if that makes you feel comfortable.
I can't say that it does.
Apparently it's for knowledge purposes, but
I can't say that it does.
Well, there's another secret that will die with us.
with all three of us now.
Captain Harris will take a swig from his small flask, pull out a mirror from his pocket, and head toward the front of the ship. The small vessel glides through the winds around the edge of the hold. Kodrog, the wheel moves smoothly, just the slightest gesture, and the whole thing it's amazing. It's like a car with nice suspensions. It is a wonderful little thing to fly as you're moving through the void. And as you begin coming around, you can see debris ahead of you. In the distance, amongst boulders and the rocks floating about, the captain pulls out a mirror and a small lighter, and he begins holding the mirror up and flicking the lighter. Flick, 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 as the small ship begins coming around. Do you have signal? Do you know signal?
No, I think we determined that they didn't know signal last time.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, but I feel like we also might have talked about we should know signal, but I don't know what we determined.
Kodrog would know it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't, definitely not. Thomas just sees this and he can think common sense. That's Morse code.
That's right, because I think that either Thomas or another. I'm sorry, Thomas was writing down what somebody else was saying, so it might have been Kodrog that was saying the things. A few sessions ago. So that okay. I mean that sounds fair.
Got a wicked intelligence, so I'm gonna put signal down.
Sure, if you've got the free language slot, I'm totally cool with it. You see him saying, it simply says, "Do not shoot, captain aboard. Do not shoot, captain aboard," and he just keeps repeating it.
Or also, princess aboard.
Do not shoot. Do not shoot a lot. This is what he's saying as you guys come around. And as you're starting to come around, you all can see that the Amber Falls begins flashing back a signal that says, pull along the starboard side. Pull along our starboard side. Pull along our starboard side.
Is the starboard side
away from the aisle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a lot of debris, as it looks like a sizable vessel has been decimated and is now in 3 pieces floating about.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
With the coming around of the edge of the hold, you're entering into a spread out field of asteroids, holds, and boulders, and there is a lot of debris floating about, and there still seems to be a couple of pot shots from crossbows and pistols being fired into the mass. You don't know if they're shooting at people or whatnot, but it's the last of the fight, maybe. You guys are still at least 300 plus yards away, so this is all at a great distance. And so you will see the flash of light from the musket and then hear the pop after a moment or two.
Excellent. So I'm gonna steer the yacht kind of like in a wide arc to swing around and come up from behind to come along the starboard side of the Amber Falls.
Yep, of course. And no need for dice rolling. The ship's you're not taking it like, this isn't a Fast and Furious moment. It's mostly just taking it easy. They get out with the poles to grab a hold of the tiny little vessel and drag it toward. The fighting, by the time you guys get over there, has ceased. Several groups have made forays into the mess, and they are beginning to look around through the remnants of the other ship. The Amber Falls pulled up no more than 40 yards from the other vessel and parked right next to it when it just started opening fire.
Those are point-blank broadsides.
Point-blank broadsides,
which is why you could hear the echo of a cackling in the far distance, because it wasn't actually that far.
That's a good point. As you bring this small vessel closer and they be coming out with their bordering poles and whatnot, the smaller limb will take her moment and shoot out via orders to circle around this strange vessel that is getting closer, this small white boat that came out of nowhere. And Fern will do you guys a once around and wave, as she is the only one who really has any propulsion in the void by her natural magical abilities. And so she'll give you guys a once around, and then you guys bring the ship in, the boarding poles used to bring it in, they start tying it off. You guys turned off the ship itself, so it's not all fancy and glowy magical. It just looks like a really, really pretty boat. That's about all it looks like to these guys.
We've kept the princess away from the helm area, and pretty much have placed her towards the bow of the boat to kind of keep her out of the way of things as we make our approach.
Yeah, nice. And she's passed out, so getting her off the boat is just scoop and carry her off.
Yeah, and I'll Kodrog will do that. We'll
Okay.
scoop her up and carry her gently.
Okay.
when we're
No,
ready.
you have an arrow in your chest.
Yeah, the captain can handle that while the two of you make sure that the boat's going broadside. Actually, you know what, Thomas, can you carry a child?
Yeah, I was about to say, Thomas is literally doing nothing at this moment. He's probably with her, and at this moment, since she wants to be entertained, he pulls out his magic tome and starts reading off different spells and not casting them, but like what they do and everything like that. And I would imagine any kid at that age would be like, "Oh, that's so neat," and just sleep. So, yeah, I would imagine he would just scoop her up.
Yeah, that's. I can imagine though, Kodrog walking over. I'm going to be helpful. Picking Thomas is like, no,
Thomas being like, you have a bolt in your chest,
dude,
my
you're
friend.
gonna scare the girl with your thing. Get out of here.
Well,
With your thing.
Before we move forward, I don't know how to answer this question.
Which
so,
is?
how many spells does Thomas
Yeah.
get? First level spells.
I had it on my note,
Because I know it's
and now I can't find my notes.
because they're third
Should be
level.
it should
so
be
it's-
4-0, 3 first, and 2 second.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Because I had no idea.
fair enough. Not a problem. This game of storytelling has rules, and sometimes we have to discuss the rules. So Arthur walks up, begins looking the ship up at Arthur's standing nearby, and he says, it looks like you found sorry, wrong voice. Looks like you found an interesting prize, Captain. Where did you find something like this?
Who's he talking to?
Yeah, I think he's talking to the captain. I think.
Yeah, he's definitely talking to the captain.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
If Kodrog has a ready response, that he can just shout it out instead.
Oh, it's the spoils of victory.
Ha ha! Looks like you also are taking another prize. You should seek out the doctor. Get that taken care of. Unless you're trying to grow a crossbow bolt tree from your chest.
No, but I might have it framed and hang it in my cabin.
Of course he would.
Arthur will stare at you like that's crazy talk. He gives you the crazy talk eyes.
Thomas just says exactly what I just said. Of course he would.
He begins telling crew members to stow this vessel on deck right here, perfectly fine. Let's get some chocks up underneath it. Let's get it tied down. And so Arthur takes over, commanding, taking care of this thing.
The captain also says, like, we have the dead aboard, so be mindful, please.
Yeah, they can of course see the bodies laying there. Aye, sir. We'll take care of them as well. Are you okay?
It's a couple flesh wounds, but nothing
Off to
that I
the
can...
doctor then.
The captain will give him a nod, and he's like, Kodrog, let's go see the doctor.
Thomas, you're with me. Bring her.
Wait, and sorry, out of character. This is the quartermaster that's roughly talking to everybody. Okay, good.
Yeah, the Keshin quartermaster.
Excellent. I am going to relinquish my cache of newfound weapons to the quartermaster. The 8 pirate daggers and the 2 short swords.
Right, so you're like, hey, you're like,
yeah, I'll be like,
maybe
sir.
you made a pile on the ship. Or
Yeah,
do you have it bound up somehow?
So
He had them all on his body. He's just pissing them off now.
I had just tucked them in places. No. So yeah, I would have taken the time to maybe like wrap them up in. Was the baddie wearing a cloak?
No, he was wearing a leather jacket, an armored jacket.
Yeah, which I think you're wearing now.
Then there's your old armored jacket that you could just roll it up in.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel like Thomas needs an armored jacket, though.
There's probably, you know what? There's probably a cloak. There's that raven
I
feathered
have no
cloak.
armor.
There is the raven cloak. That's the fancy one. I'm sure.
Or I could just,
it'll be
I
fine.
just go on land and buy armor.
You know what? We're just gonna say, yeah, there's an extra cloak or.
Yeah, and I have them wrapped and present him with the new cache of weapons for the Amber Falls.
With his hand on Thomas's elbow to guide him to where he needs to go with the princess, he'll look down and be like, That needs to be stored. Take it to the sailmaster when... he's considering everybody is around. He'll yell at Larry. Larry, go store this in the armaments room for now.
You really think that we should trust Larry with this?
So when Larry comes over to take them, I hand them over and I lean in close to him and say, I know how many daggers there are, Larry.
All right.
Make sure they all make it to the stores.
Okay, hang on. Larry's looking here. Sure. He takes them from you and then twangs the end of the crossbow bolt as he walks off.
Oh! God, I hate Larry and love him.
I earned it.
Yeah.
So he'll take off. I'm like, whatever, man. All right.
Oh my
Fucking
gosh.
Larry.
That's my man. Fantastic.
My man.
Twang. All right. So
It's your boy.
Arthur will guide Thomas by the elbow, making sure he sees that you have a wound. He looks to you, makes eye contact, doesn't acknowledge it, but continues walking you to the captain's quarters. Unlocks them, walks you in, and points to because she's asleep right now, and says, you can place her onto the captain's bed. And you do so, and there's like nothing said, and as you're walking out, he will give you a pat on the back. Excellent work.
Thank you. And Thomas will just nod, and he'll like kind of hold his wound, because I bet it stings.
Okay. An arrow went through part of your meaty shoulder bits.
Yeah.
Especially
when it's up here. I always imagined it to be like here. My arms are sensitive, but
it's like it didn't hit your collarbone. It went right up into the. Is this a trap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of your traps.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was aiming for your face.
That's
your
true.
Neck, so.
That's true. Yeah. Thomas will just give him a nod. He's already kind of intimidated by Arthur's presence, so he'll just kind of scoot on out the door unless he, backhands Thomas because he got the captain injured.
He's giving you a helpful push out the door. In your mind, as you're walking out, thinking, "Man, look at this guy." You see, he is covered in scars. So you know that your wound compares little to the things like the one on the side of his face. It looks like it's, it still has that puffiness to it. So he escorts you out of the captain's room, locks the door behind him, and says, "Now make your way off to the doctor's. Get that looked at."
Yeah, of course.
And then he turns and yells to the rest of the crew, "All right, you all, let's get everything cleaned up, clear out this debris. We're going to push off here and get back around to the other side." And so he wanders off and begins bellowing out to people.
I would imagine Thomas jumps up at, like, go on, go to the doctor. All right, you scallywag. He's like, Jesus. He walks to the doctor faster.
Oh my gosh.
What's my job again?
Thomas, I feel like Thomas, when the quartermaster was speaking with him, I feel like he was just thinking, like, the captain got hurt, and he's kind of protective of that. And I suggested that the captain would go. So having him, like, this close to him being like, all right, go to the doctor, and he's like, oh, thank God.
Well, I mean, he did say you did a great job, so, and that's, like, ridiculously high praise coming from that asshole.
Yep.
That's true. I didn't actually think of that.
Here's the other thing. No one else was around. You'll never be able to get him to admit that in public with anyone else. You once told me I did a good job. Never did that.
Never.
Thomas would never be that person to actually say that out loud either.
Yeah,
be like, oh, you told me that I did a great job that one time, and I don't think he'll ever mention that. But yeah, he'll go to the doctor very quickly.
All right, Captain Harris and Kodrog, you guys make your way down to the lower decks, and the doctor, of course, has been making his way up to upper deck, so you guys meet the doctor in the stairwell.
Excellent.
Halfway.
Hello again, Doctor.
Kodrog, can you just be like, hey, you see this?
So, as you approach Kodrog, you say, "Hello again, Doctor." The antenna that were just like back hanging loose on behind him, like quickly whip forward and just barely brushes the tip of your nose and the tip of the captain's nose. He's like, "You did not have that in you when you left." I don't think that growing an appendage that way is appropriate.
What do you think the best cure is?
I believe that we will have to remove it.
Okay, but can I keep it? Post-removal.
So, there's like a very slight pause. You see like a very quick tilt of the head.
A souvenir.
You want to keep your body trash.
Well, when you put it that way, yes?
Very well. And
I think Thomas would mention as he's like, oh, you didn't have that when you left. Thomas would be like, I'm sorry, Doctor, do you think that Kodrog would take a crossbow bolt from his quiver and stab him in his chest as an accessory?
It's like, oh, I'm ready for an adventure. Hold on. Let's do this.
Very few people seem to grasp Cyrix's sense of humor.
Well, Thomas just doesn't understand humor half the time anyway.
That's very true.
So.
Yeah. Very well. We will cut it out. Come with me. And then he turns around.
He actually doesn't have to turn around.
Oh, you're right.
He moves
doesn't.
backwards.
Oh, I forgot.
He just grabs a hold of the two of you since he can pluck you off the deck and just begins moving backwards. Unlike the two of you guys have a slight reduction in movement through the ship and in the void. He does not because of his size and the fact he has so many extra limbs to work with.
Yes.
He spiders down the hallway quickly and into his office, and like a cockroach, he squeezes into the door because he's able to move his body in ways that just seems unnatural. He pulls you in one at a time.
Whenever that happens, and it's not like a smooth, graceful thing, you hear the pop, pop, pop,
Yeah.
so you hear the joints as they move in ways that, you feel like they shouldn't be able to move, but he doesn't seem to be in pain.
Just imagine, because Thomas isn't being taken by this guy either. He's just having this front row seat of being like, oh, yep, okay. There he goes. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So,
and he's in the house. Like, he's in his doorway, all right.
Yep.
Pulling the captain in, he drifts the captain off to one side of the room and sets him down with two of his arms. Grabbing Kodrog, he moves over and undoes a netting on the table, brings it over, and begins strapping Kodrog to the table just so he doesn't float away. Meanwhile, his other pair of arms reach over to a cabinet on the wall, which is nothing more than a specialized netting, pulls it open and pulls out a box of blades and lays them out. One with a large hook on the end of it.
he's got the...
Right. So
Yeah.
the hook is to pry in, to dig in. It's small, so he can dig in and cut around just
can't
enough
use
the
his
head.
finger.
Oh yeah, he can use the finger, but it's large. This is tiny. Oh no, you're right. We'll do it that way.
Yeah.
Instead, he lays you out onto the table, tying you down just a little bit, and then uses one of his large legs, which have odd fingers, and he puts it onto your midsection and to hold you down. And then one leg presses up against the ceiling to keep him from moving as he takes his forefinger, which is a large curved blade, and he just digs it into your chest a little bit and twists toward the head of the crossbow bolt, then pulls it out and goes, "Oh, it's barbed.
Oh, shit.
I will have to open the wound." He would say, he'd let you know,
Yeah,
yes, to
it's like-
open the wound.
Mhm.
So,
Wait, Doc, may I have my rum ration now?
I have something better. And with his other appendage, he reaches over and opens a drawer and pulls out this, bottle that has a pot. The pop taps like a Grolsch bottle does. It's like, and it's a clear glass, but the fluid in there is very dark and viscous.
Ooh.
He's like, drain this into your mouth.
Does this look like what he gave me before I left?
No.
Okay, this is a new one. Well, Bottoms up.
So it's like molasses going into your mouth. It doesn't.
Is it burny?
No.
No burning.
It's not. It doesn't burn. But after a few short moments of swallowing about like 3 or 4 of these gulps, he just takes it away from you. He's like, that will be sufficient. And, he takes away and you're like, I can't feel my mouth. I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my...
Doc, what you doing me?
I have provided you with an analgesic. That's what they call them, right? Doesn't matter. You don't know what it means.
Yeah, there's some big words for me.
You won't feel anything for the next several minutes. And he takes his very long, like, wicked-looking dagger finger and very carefully and precision cuts a line, like, into, below and above the barb, and then takes one of his other fingers to spread open the wound, and very carefully pulls the barbed thing out of your chest.
And this is actually how they would do it, but there's also one missing component because there would be a lot of blood, and they would just like dry it up or something, or unless they were sophisticated like the doctor, and he uses leeches and attaches leeches around the wound so there's less blood coming out.
It's true.
So you got like this, your shirt's open, he cuts you and he attaches leeches, and so they're drinking away, getting all fat on your blood. And he cuts
Thomas will offer his leeches. He was like, these babies haven't had food in days, I bet.
And so, that's the surgical procedure to remove the crossbow bolt from your chest, and then the doctor uses his
spittle.
Pushes everything back.
Closes the wound. Make sure it's sealed and cleaned and sealed, and be like, this will hurt after a few minutes. You may have your rum rations. Doctor approved. Scraping his finger into like his little stone chalkboard.
Thanks, Doc. I'll take this to Cookie.
Thomas is just thankful that he doesn't have a crossbow bolt in his chest.
Right. For the captain's wounds, the doctor is only going to have to apply some bandages and then spittle, as well as yours. Bandages.
I have a important question.
Sure.
As Thomas is in the doorway watching all of this, and he looks away right as the doctor says, "Oh, the crossbow bolt is barbed," and he's like, "Ha, nope, not watching this." Is the captain shirtless?
Oh, I would say...
It's very important.
I would say yes. As soon as they would have made it into the room, like the jacket would have already been off because he was doing the rigging and stuff. So he had already like disrobed some of his stuff, and now that like he's in there, because like I think there was like a cut that was like along his rid line,
on his side,
and so yes, he takes off his shirt while the doctor would have passed over a piece of cloth for him to hold against his side while he was waiting for Kodrog's operation to be completed.
Now, would I roll, what would I roll for composure? Yeah. Like, I'm dead serious.
Will.
Okay.
Yeah.
But...
Senpai's shirtless.
Why am I not seeing... Oh, because it's a reflex, right? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Right, okay. I'll roll. Where's my dice? Da-da-da. What do you think I'd have to pass for this?
Oh, thank you, Palmer, for your donation. Love it. Appreciate it. I don't know.
I got a 16.
I don't...
Plus,
I was thinking...
DC was a 17.
I think 16 is appropriately good. You could set the DC higher. I would probably say it's about 12. His charisma is a 14. Sorry, not a 14. A 16.
Yeah, it's charisma.
So I'm thinking like a 13 would be what you're
fair.
looking for.
No, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, to not completely like swoon over, but I mean, you might be like, oh my.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there is like that moment where Thomas is watching it, and he just watches him take off his shirt and goes, oh, okay. And he just turns kind of like bright red in the cheeks, and he just kind of looks away. And he waits for his turn patiently. Oh, crap. They're whispering to each other.
Maybe. I don't know. That's your call. I'll let you take it. The joys of cozy.
Share with the class. What'd you guys whisper?
Oh, so yeah, so this is how it plays out. You do your thing. It's like you're like, oh, okay, time to getting all
like,
and like as the doctor is working on sealing up Kodrog's wound, he kind of pauses for a moment, and like
I totally forgot about the doctor.
His antennas just like wiggle a little bit in the air, like it's like they're trying to feel for something. So I was like,
yeah, he won't say anything. He'll just do the antennas.
And then
maybe look.
And then you see his face like just completely because he's not looking at the door, so he does the owl thing where his face turns around, and then turns his head back and goes back to his work.
Imagine as he looks at Thomas. Thomas just kind of does that thing where he's like, "I'll go wait outside." He like steps outside the doorway.
But then, as Kodrog is walking out with his rum ration, he says, "No, Thomas, take my table," and he pushes him over towards the operating table. Sorry, no, Thomas, take my table.
Oh man.
So
I'll be in the gallery if you need me.
All right, thanks, Kodrog.
So you get forced back into the.
Great.
There's only a little blood on the table. Not a lot, just a little.
And it's dwarf blood. It makes you strong.
Thomas will sit next to the blood, but not on it or near it. And he'll wait patiently.
Okay. So the doctor has moved over to the captain, and he's working. He's like, this was a very clean cut. So it's like. So you see him actually like spread the wound open so he can is inspecting the inside to make sure there's no like pieces of metal or dirt or anything,
or guts
getting cut. And
especially in the void, I would imagine that there's a lot of like dust and debris that floats around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Very, very important to keep a clean wound.
So the captain rolled a 10 on the die for his fortitude check to be able to stand being that without having any analgesic.
Any rum. Yeah, you can definitely see that this is affecting him. And Kodrog has already taken the majority of his numbing agent.
Yeah. So, but you can see like the captain's making like the I'm holding this
wincing.
in the holding it in, trying to look tough but in definite pain kind of face right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's showing off. You don't know. You hope he's showing off.
Yeah, a part of me does.
And every once in a while, as this is happening, you see the little flickering antennas, and they're kind of like flickering between the two of you.
And then while holding the captain's thing, he'll grab the captain by the arm and stretch him out, so the captains are like stretched out, and more exposed. And then like you could see the doctors watching him do this. Mm-hmm. And then his antennas twitch. Yeah. And for just maybe one or two motions as he's checking the captain out, captain doesn't seem to catch on too quickly, but the doctor's watching your reaction to the captain's movements just for a few times.
Yeah.
Like studying them.
There's definitely an air of concern, and also he's really fit, and I just want to touch his chest, like that moment. Yes. But there's that concern, like
the pheromones.
He's more worried about the wincing and everything like that.
Yeah, the pheromones are flowing right now, and that's what. and that's.
Yep.
And the doctor is very receptive to that kind of chemical transmission. So
I figured. I didn't think of it until you mentioned the doctor, like, moving his antennas, and I was like, oh, shit, he knows. Like...
So, I'm assuming
But
at this
yeah.
point he'll stop playing around and doing his science experiment on you and the captain. Tend to the captain's wounds because he wants to make sure the captain's fine. Administer some white tea medication to help with pain.
Yes.
And then turn to you to assist you as well, which is nothing more than...
Stitches.
Now,
Oh.
stitches are so unclean.
yeah. So it's just going to be check the wound for cleanliness, cover the wound, offer you some white medical tea, and
then send you on your way.
Give a writ permission for your rum rations early.
I imagine Thomas would just be like, you know what? I'll just take a more tea. I'm fine, thank you. Instead of taking the rum rations. Thomas isn't a big drinker, so unless it's wine.
Okay, so
The doctor will tell you that you can negotiate with Cookie.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
might have some cooking wine.
Yes.
Might.
We're going to call it white medical tea. You can assume what that means, but it's basically a solution of white powdery stuff that you mix in water and makes you feel better.
It's
yes, Palmer, it is cocaine with water.
It's the Shattered Isles version of BC powder, except it's
exactly. It's BC powder.
But
It makes your headache go away.
yeah,
Oh, it makes your headache go away.
totally.
All
You feel
right.
pretty good.
So, should the doctor go to check on Kodrog? Because he was pretty numbed up. Leave the captain and Thomas alone in the room together? No, that's
No,
not
no,
gonna happen.
no. I don't.
He's
think
going to
so.
tell you to get out.
Yeah.
Nicely. Not the way I do, but he would...
No, I'm like, our work here is finished. You may go now. I have to clean up. Unless you would like to stay and help me clean up. And he points to like the, blood and dirty dirty claws, blood-filled claws, leeches.
See, Thomas is definitely the person that'd be like, you know what, you did, even though it wasn't severe, he did heal me. So I feel like Thomas would stay behind and be like, yeah, you know what, hand me a rag.
Okay, all right. So the captain
He doesn't want to, but like
he feels obligated.
yeah,
Okay.
Good guy, Thomas.
especially with like how he was raised. I would imagine that since he was from a noble family, they were like, "Oh, have the servants do it." And he was just like, "That's not right." Like,
Okay. So yeah, you'll stay. The captain will leave to attend to the duties of captaining, and
captaining.
yes. So yeah. What would you or let's see, what if
Kodrog's effect of the numbingness actually wears off rather quickly and leaves you with a bitter, bad taste in your mouth and a bit of a headache. The wear-off effect is about 20 minutes at most, just to let you know.
Okay.
The pain from your surgery is pretty prominent right after the numbing goes away, so you might want to medicate yourself. You could also, the doctor probably gave you some white medical tea as well. You can mix, by the way, for the players, you can mix white medical tea with any drink you want. You can even put it in your rum.
Yeah,
That'll be
that's
one
my
hell of a
plan.
day.
I'm gonna medicinalize my ration.
nice.
Oh my god, you're gonna be fucking stoned and drunk.
Okay.
So
That
while
combination isn't good.
while this was all happening, the quartermaster and the sailmaster were taking care of getting back to the void dock of the hold. The captain would have gone up to explain that there are 2 new crew members that we need to pick up, and we need to make some financial arrangements for the dead, is what he'll say. And so they are docking by the time you guys are done with your clean up, and the buzz from your spiked rum rations is, more manageable.
All right. So we'll go to Kodrog. The ship's coming round. You got a chance to go see Cookie. She happily gives you a double dose of rum rations. So nice to see you made it back okay. Oh, the doctor took care of you. I heard all about it. It was terrible. Here, take my rum rations. You'll need it.
Hey, thank you so much, Cookie. To be honest with you, the only thing that got me through was the thought of my next bowl of porridge.
Oh, oh my. Ooh. Behave.
I love Cookie.
Here's to health, and I chug my rum ration with my white medical tea.
Oh yeah, health. Woo.
All right.
Oh man. Oh my.
It will take probably about 2 to 5 minutes for the entire effects to kick in. The rum, of course, is going to numb you from the pain, and the white medical tea will also help numb you from the pain, but give you a +2 on your initiative.
Nice.
+2 on your perception.
Nice.
And feeling that, you just kind of need to start doing something. You're motivated.
It is cocaine.
Oh, man.
I could take on the world! It's like a mixture of cocaine and Ritalin.
So right about now, you're like, oh, I hurt, the chest, the pain, the blood. The doctor's actions and his heal skill check is able to give you back, where's my dice? Holy crap.
Ooh.
12 hit points.
Oh,
Nice.
that is one more than I needed.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
right now, you feel like $1 million. Technically, you still have a wound, but you feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
You feel like you can go out and get more drunk at the bar.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, I chug my rations with my medical tea added to it, and I start leaving the galley, start wandering the deck, and then it hits me. It's like, oh man, I gotta find something to do. I gotta do something. How does the deck look? Okay, yeah. How does oh gosh, the falls got hit more than I realized. I better start working on this. So,
I just imagine Thomas comes upstairs from cleaning, drying his hands off in the air. And, I imagine Kodrog knitting. Hey, you see the scarf I made? And he's just like, okay, whoa. How much did you drink? How much rations did Cookie give you?
Did you see the scarf I made?
no, I grab some carpentry tools and I start trying to patch places all by myself really quickly.
Oh man.
So, as you're, going to town, trying really hard to, put some energy into fixing the deck, you see a very large shadow come over you with...
And I...
A gentle giant hovers over you with a great big smile.
What are you doing to my ship?
Well, you see, it looks like there was some damage here, and I felt like I had some time and the motivation that I just wanted to try and fix this here if I could really quickly, just, have less to do later for everyone else, Is that... Should I...
You need to go with the grain.
Oh, yeah. Aye, with the grain. And I turn myself and go with the grain.
Oh man.
Carry on. And then the giant's shadow passes over you and moves on to another part of the ship that needs mending.
A group of
with the grain. Always with the
riggers
grain.
are walking by, plucking bits of material off deck and tossing it into a barrel, and then closing the lid, gathering bits of wood that have about, undoing bits of line and marking them as they need to, as more line is being dragged up from the bottom half of the ship. The dock is slowly creeping into view at this point in time. The long void dock that stretches out from Aishan is, at this point in time, coming along the port side. And riggers are moving over with their boarding pikes to grab a hold and pull it up and get the ship to align. The collision is gentle, but the void dock still bends under the massive wave of the Amber Falls as she slides up alongside and begins putting her weight into the hold itself. Only a good eye would be able to see that the hold does bend and move. The hold itself just barely moves at the weight of the massive vessel. Arthur will call out that we're here to gather a few supplies, take care of some domestics in hold. Let me use his voice. We're here to pick up a few supplies, take care of domestics before we move on and head back home. There might be time for some R&R if you've been good and get your domestics done. And Arthur's probably needs to catch up with the captain.
Yes, probably, so they can do their catching up.
All right, so this
and
time...
that can happen off screen, so...
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to Thomas then.
Yes.
Sweet.
So the doctor has left you and the captain by yourselves while he's pushed you out the room. Says, go take care of your things.
No,
I'm sorry. You're staying behind to help him clean.
Yes.
So he instructs you to, with soap and water, it's mostly just soap, to scrub the table with this rocky, sponge-looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, he will be watching you as you work. As he's doing things, his eyes are like watching you move about and stuff. Every once in a while, you'll catch him looking at you purposefully.
I was gonna say, do I actually catch him?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine every time Thomas notices, he goes, "What?" Like he finally just gets up and he goes, "Am I doing this wrong? Like, if I'm doing this wrong, you need to tell me."
He'll shake his head no.
Yeah, just shaking his head. He doesn't say anything. So we should, every once in a while he'll do the, just
I think Thomas will just do his business and just think, you know what? Maybe that's just what he does. Maybe it's just that thing that he does. Maybe it's that a race thing that he does. But
maybe it is about how they respond and react to the world.
Thomas doesn't really know, so he'll just he'll do his business. And I imagine he looks over a couple of times, God, I really want to know why he's looking at me, type of thing. But
if you think that's the problem. You have to remember that you two are communicating telepathically right now. And any surface thought that you have, such as, I wonder why he's looking at me, he hears you say that like you have no internal monologue.
Yeah.
So which would lead him to answer.
If that's how he's like, you produced a very large amount of pheromones when I was working when I was examining the captain. Mating pheromones.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't think you should use that term around anyone.
That is the appropriate term.
Yeah, I guess it is. What would you like to know about that?
I already know all of the things that I need to know.
Great.
You are very loud.
Yeah. I tend to think a lot. Thomas just kind of does. He basically just does what I do because he just kind of realizes he was just he reads smut. He likes the captain. Thomas Thomas just goes, yeah, that's very personal, Doc. That's stuff that I'd like to not share with anyone.
It is very difficult for you soft-shelled bipeds to keep things to yourself.
And quiet, because that
And
was
quiet.
pretty loud. Woo! That's what you did when
Yeah.
to the doctor you went woo. Sorry, didn't mean to scream in the microphone.
I am used to it.
Great. Is there any way that you can, I don't know, tone that out? You know when people are like, when they're like, oh, let me go over here and have a conversation with a separate person, and you eavesdrop, you can easily tune them out to be polite.
So you don't see any noticeable reaction in the doctor's features. Not that it would be very difficult to tell anyway.
Yeah.
But he does stop his his skittering of his appendages and brings them in to what you assume would be like his chest.
Mm-hmm.
And you see he taps them together, like I can't do the clicking sound.
Something like plastic on
Yeah,
glass?
yeah, let's see. Like
Yes, plastic on
Oh,
glass.
okay.
regarding your screaming pheromones, no, there's nothing I can do about it.
Great. Then
However,
you know what?
If you no longer wish me to communicate with you, you can simply wipe off. And he points to where he brushed you, like, with his antenna earlier.
Oh. I mean, yeah, Thomas will do that. Yeah, it's kind of one of that thing where he just goes, all right, just like, like fix his hair afterwards, and he goes, yeah, you just keep it to yourself, okay?
You no longer hear his voice in your mind, because you got rid of the way for him
Oh,
to
that's
communicate
true.
with you. So,
I mean, he would still hear Thomas at this point. Click his
yeah.
bits together. Point to the table, which you finished cleaning at this point in time. Reach over and give you a packet of white medical tea. Put it into your hand. Close your hand and give like a nod.
Yes, actually, I like nod, and then when you don't move, he takes out his essentially operating dew claw,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah.
and flick flicks
Like-
it
like,
towards
you
the
can go.
door.
Yeah, Thomas will thank him and leave quite embarrassed. And I'll head up the stairs and imagine see Kodrog.
Yeah, it's like, regarding your screaming hormones, no, there's nothing I can do to ignore those.
Yeah. Yeah. As I imagine Kodrog is furiously scrubbing this boat. Thomas literally just walks over. Here's the thing: Thomas walks over and looks at it, goes, "How you doing there, buddy?"
With the grain, Thomas. With the grain.
Thomas just reaches over and he places his hand on the thing and casts mend, and then walks away. He literally just does the smooth motion of casting mend, says it in Draconic, and then just goes, "There you go, buddy." And he just kind of walks away. And you just hear him as he's walking away going, I need a drink. And he just goes down to the...
Why did I get rid of my rum rations? No, wait. No, you see, you switched to different wine.
Oh, wait, I hear you say you need a drink.
Yeah, he says it out loud.
Mix it with your tea.
And he just goes, right, thanks. Like,
As he goes back to, like, turning the thing that was
even
just...
though I mended it!
I don't know.
Now I furiously find a new spot to fix.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I think that you guys have you were able to score up some white cooking wine off of Cookie.
Sweetie.
And,
yeah, I'm pretty sure she's got that.
She
would
do
say
that.
pretty much the same thing like she said to Kodrog, so happy to have you back. Here, take double the rum rations as wine rations, stay safe, stuff like that. She's very concerned for your well-being.
The cooking wine is very bitter and strong, as cooking wine tends to be. But when you mix it, do you mix it with the white medical tea?
Yeah.
Man.
I think he. Well, here's the thing. Thomas is smart. Sorry, Kodrog. You're smart, but would Thomas know what that medical powder is? Like, would he have it before? Because, like, if he's had it before, I would imagine he's like, yeah, the last time I did this, I organized the entire cooking shelf alphabetically and color coordinated. So maybe I shouldn't take both, you know?
You may have had variations of something like that, but typically all of those kinds of treatments are made by the doctor that is going to be helping you. So unless you've actually had some kind of serious wound, you probably would not have had Cyrix's version of white medical tea.
Okay.
You can.
And is
Go ahead.
Is Thomas in pain in his shoulder? Like, does it hurt?
Not really. It's like, after a paper cut.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, he'll just take a glass of wine.
The spittle that the doctor produces slightly numbs any minor wounds and the pain that might comes along with it. Kodrog has a major wound, which is the third step up, goes minor, medium, major as far as it goes for my games. And so the spittle can't help that. That's where the white medical tea kicks in, and it takes care of the rest, as well as rum. Kodrog will not be under the effects of this for very long, as his dwarven stability, his metabolism will kick in a little while, and he'll just get the benefits and not any of the negatives.
Right.
Oh, good.
Meanwhile, other crew members who take a full packet in their rum. By the way, the doctor must have failed to tell you, take small amounts and add it to your rum. My bad.
Oh, yeah, I didn't understand the prescription.
It was all written in scribblies.
Excellent.
All right.
But yeah, Thomas will just have a glass of wine. If he's not in pain, like, oh god, this is unbearable, he won't put the tea in. But like, if it's even then, he needs a drink. So
Okay.
He's gonna look for Bassianus though while he's sipping on wine.
Of course, Bassianus was amongst some of the crew members to help deal with the other ship, as well as help deal with the debris. He is back up in action.
Yes.
Yay!
So let's see. He will take this time to catch up with you and hang out with you in the mess hall, where you guys have a chance to just be away from things. Kodrog, are you joining them for a drink, or are you going to continue your exposition of cleaning and repairing?
She said drink.
I mean, it wasn't an open invitation, but still.
It's true, it wasn't an open invitation, but
Yeah.
I mean, my purpose was just taken from me, so yeah, I'll trail along. Looking for new purpose.
I would imagine as they're walking back to the mess hall, because I don't know, I would imagine Bassianus on deck. There's an exchange of words about the doctor and about like things that Thomas is going through, and Bassianus is just nodding and listening, and he'll mention something about remember that one time you swooned over that guy over there, and like way over there in a different state or city or whatever, and Thomas just goes, don't bring that up. They walk back into the mess hall.
You remember that one guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it like that?
Yeah, it was.
And then you're like,
that...
no, it was worse. Or better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is one of those things where it's like, hey, remember that one guy that you saw that saved that one thing from this thing? And he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, is this it? And he goes, it's worse than that. Like, it's very much like best friends talking about, well, boys. Except Bassianus isn't into boys. So he's just supporting Thomas.
Is it like that? Nice.
I swooned myself once. It was over a dwarven lass with magnificent braided sideburns. They were down to her ankles. It was glorious. If I find her again.
Thomas just kind of gives Kodrog a look like, oh god, he's dropped. Like, just kind of like this.
Yeah, you're
People, this ship is this big. Can we have some
Yeah.
space?
Exactly. I think that's what Thomas was thinking. He's like, of course, you know, like.
Bastianos will laugh at you as you guys get in, have some drinks, and sit down. Cookie is in the kitchen, cleaning and prepping for the next meal. You guys hang out and have a short chance to talk. And probably about 15 minutes into your conversation, Arthas is...
Arthur?
Arthur.
Arthas. Arthas.
No. Arthritis. Arthritis sets in.
Oh no.
Arthur will come walking in to the mess hall.
Okay.
He walks up to the table where the three of you sit
Great.
and says,
Yeah, I bet Thomas just does this in his chair with his wine.
Captain sent me. He says that there are some people down at that bar waiting for us. Wants one of you to go about getting them. He's occupied with the princess at this point in time. There's also things that need to be handled. You know, the extra cargo you brought back.
The corpse cargo.
Aye. That needs to be taken care of. They'll be buried here on Isle, at least the Undertaker says, unless there's no Undertaker. And then we'll take them back with us. So someone needs to find out about that. I'm going to delegate you two to take care of it. And he stops and looks at Bastianos. 3. Free rides don't exist no more. Since we lost 2 crew members not too long ago. Need you 3 to go handle some business on hold.
You can trust us, sir.
Is he talking about that current fight, or the past fight with the dogs? When he said we lost 2 people not too long ago.
Oh, the dogs.
Okay, that's it. I figured. I was just all right.
Yeah, no casualties from the last fight, right?
No. Nobody dies now. You guys just
None of the shit does, but
problem solved.
yeah.
Yeah, Thomas will suggest, we'll take the extra cargo into town, and while we're in town, we'll head to the bar and... Because I'm guessing that's how we have to do it, because...
Arthur goes, no. Go to the bar. There are 2 new crew members who are going to be replacing the 2 that we lost. You 2 apparently seem to know of them. The captain...
Curly and his brother.
The captain did not speak deeply of who and what and names, and you know their faces. It'll save a lot of time if the 2 of you go, find them, and retrieve them. And then I want you to go find the Undertaker on the hold to find out if we can leave these individuals here.
Oh, okay.
I should we inform the local law enforcement of the fighting?
Thomas just does this.
They're going to be asking questions here shortly anyways, since we returned and we're the only vessel in the area with guns. So if you run into them, I would appreciate you reaching out and being the best to represent us. The captain also said something else about making a purchase. A big purchase. He didn't explain to me what it was about. He said, I'm not to know. It's for the crown. And he said that you 2, pointing at Thomas and Kodrog, would understand. I apologize, he speaks to Bastianos. I know not what this is about. And he fishes up a purse of coins and he'll hand it to Tom. He'll release it in the direction of Thomas. It's a pretty hefty sized bag.
Yeah, Thomas will take it and he'll put it in his jacket pocket, close to his chest.
While everyone else is finishing up domestics and we're getting cargo loaded, you will have 3 tasks. 2 new crew members, burying the dead, and making the purchase for the captain. Whatever. The secret purchase for the captain. Secrets. I'll find out sooner or later.
Thomas keeps to himself and he kind of grins, and he's clearly thinking the obvious of his blatant crush on the captain, but he kind of giggles to himself because Arthur will never know.
All right.
But then he'll just go, yep, we'll leave as soon as possible.
Kodrog is already standing up.
Arthur's just waiting, standing there.
Mm-hmm. Thomas finishes his wine. He's doing this. He just looks at Arthur, finishes it slowly, and then just sets it down. And then he'll like slowly stand up.
Arthur goes, The sooner this gets taken care of, and you 4, 5, again, apologies, giving a nod to Bassianus. As soon as you 5 are back on boat, we are leaving. So my schedule is based on how long you take.
So we shall be quick.
I will be counting the minutes to hours. It shouldn't take too long to take care of... How many dead was there? 5?
5? There was 5.
Yeah,
there was 5.
Because there was Daryl, and then there was, like, 3 baddies, the one that got away, and then...
We didn't bring Daryl's body with us. Daryl's body is still back at the tower.
That's true. Yeah. So you're gonna have to do some hiking.
No, we can, like, pay somebody to go retrieve the body, right?
Yeah, you just got a pouch full of money.
That we're purchasing the mine with, Kodrog. Like, he doesn't say that in character, but like,
of course,
we can't.
I mean, you guys can figure out. You guys figured that out on your own. That's not what Arthur's worried about. All right. Yeah. So as you rise slowly from the table after taking your last drink, set the cup down, it clicks to the table and everything. Arthur's standing there at this point in time with his hands beside him, hands resting on his belt. He's watching you rise. He still hasn't moved. As you kind of shuffle yourself about, he puts his arms in. At this point in time, he's crossing them. Reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out his clock, and goes, and just looks at it as it starts going, tick, 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 as his pocket watch is clicking.
Righto. Let's get going, Thomas.
Thomas will give Kodrog a look as they're walking out and goes, how much of that medical powder did you have?
Well, one pouch is 1 dose, right?
Arthur's like, no, that's supposed to last you a whole week.
Well, keep that timer going.
I imagine, like, this entire thing was from Kodrog's perspective, and Thomas actually wasn't moving slow.
Yeah, I'm just right next to him.
It was like
lag.
Everything is slow motion to him right now.
Yeah. And then I Superman up through the galley hatchway.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you guys are heading to get off boat with, it's the 2 of you plus Bassianus, and as you're heading out, Larry's sitting there and he's got some line, he's tugging on it, struggling with it. As you guys are heading onto the dock, he watches you get off the ship and start walking. Hey, where the hell are you 3 bloody well going? We've got domestics to take care of. Get back here and start swabbing the deck.
We've got our own domestics.
We're on official business for the crown.
Well, you can't just walk off. We've got work to do.
Thomas literally just goes, watch me, and he walks. I love Kodrog's attitude right now, and I love Thomas's I don't give 2 shits right now.
All right, Larry in his upsetness
like
will kick one of the buckets that tumbles into the back of Inu, and Inu turns and begins swearing at him and failing.
Oh, goodness.
You guys make your way down the dock to Kodrog's, the bar. It's not hard. It takes a couple of moments. Anything you want to do on the dock on the way there, have a conversation, now would be that time.
So, Thomas, I think that it would be best for us to go to the bar, and then we should go to the local magistrate and explain to them what happened, and that all the killings were totally legal, and it was all their fault, and we offered them a chance to escape, but they didn't take it. And then we should go to the Undertaker and say, hey, we got all these bodies, can you bury them? They all have their, little pirate sailor earrings, so it's all paid for. You don't have to worry about it. And then maybe we can, go buy the tunnel, so then we can save the elf crypt. What do you say?
All right, Paige wouldn't be able to remember all this, but Thomas would, because this is his job. His job is to actually go, okay, got it, let's do it, type of thing. So Thomas just goes, perfect. And he'll, motion his way, he'll, motion towards the tavern first, because that's what you said, that's right? You said the tavern first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
like I said, Thomas would know it. Paige does it.
yeah, and just for point of reference, you think in the whole line of very fast talking, you heard him say Elven crypt, and I'm assuming that you may have pushed him really hard about that.
Bassianus will, of course, near the whole end of it, make a perception check to see if he even caught any of that. He did, and Bassianus will be like, what did you say about a crypt?
Thomas will give Kodrog a look. And give him this, you're on your own type of thing. And a look at Bassianus.
Well, it's where they died, so dead people, crypts, I don't know, slip of the word, tongue.
Slip of the word.
Oh, you must have meant the 11 crypts, not Elven crypts. Something like that would be an amazing find.
Yeah, but there wasn't 11 of them, so it's not that amazing.
It's not that amazing.
It was just some stairs.
Just some
And
stairs.
Yeah.
Thomas just does this to Kodrog and just he pats him on the head and then starts pushing him towards the tavern. He's more worried that you're gonna say something else.
All right. You guys make your way to Kodrog's. Entering into the establishment, it's in the mid part of day for these guys, so there's a decent number of people hanging about. For the most part, we're going to say it's not too packed, but not too unpacked, so about 50% full. How's that sound? There is the smell of food and cigarette smoke and sweat and dirt and nastiness of all the miners built up in the room. And you can see your wonderful friends
Curly and Connor hanging
Yeah.
out
That's
at
right,
the
it was
bar.
Connor. Was
Right.
Curly the kid, or was Connor the
Connor
kid?
is the
Connor
kid.
was the kid, yeah.
Curly is the one with the crossbow boat in his face.
Does he still have that?
most of it, yes.
Okay. Totally forgot that it happened.
He didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pull the trigger, but sorry.
So, as you guys drift in, I'm going to make a perception check for the two of them to see if they will notice you. That is a no for Connor and a no for Curly. The two of them are sitting at a table not too far away. There are two Tiki-Out bards still plucking away on lyres and telling terrible jokes. That's the scene in the bar as you drift in through the ceiling. Coming to a light on the ground, what would you guys like to do?
Make a superhero level perception check to see if I see Curly and Connor.
You do. Because you're coming
Oh.
down from above. You easily see them.
Okay.
Yeah, but you do notice that, the crossbow bolt isn't as long as it was before when you last saw Curly. Instead of sticking out, 8 inches, now it's only sticking out, 3 inches.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thomas, I imagine Thomas will speak up behind them once they walk over and he goes, "You didn't try pulling that out yourself, did you?"
In surprise, they turn and both of them look at the three of you. And you can see that the butt end of the crossbow bolt has been cut off with maybe a saw or something. It definitely looks like it was jerked about, and there's a decent amount of blood on his face. It doesn't look too bad, There's several empty mugs in front of them. No, I didn't. Well, I had gone to the bone saw, the local doctor, and he it was going to cost quite a bit in copper just to get the whole thing pulled. I didn't have that kind of money, so he instead just cut it off a bit.
He said that it would come out on its own, says Connor.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're taking you back to the ship immediately.
Bonesaw told me to probably fall out. Yeah, Bonesaw said it'll probably fall out on its own. But yeah, Curly was. Yeah, Bonesaw said it'd fall out on its own. It'll be fine.
Well, the good news is part of the job is free healthcare. And I point to where the crossbow bolt is. No, oh wait, it wasn't in me when we left. So. I showed them the hole in my shirt.
You still point to it anyway.
Yeah, it's like healthcare is free. Look at me, I'm healthy now.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thomas will looks at Kodrog and he like kind of makes sure that he's like eye level with him. He goes, "I'm gonna take them back to the ship. I want you to go take care of the others that we need to make sure that the Undertaker can take care of.
While I
will meet you there."
do appreciate your trust in me, Thomas, I think it would be nice to have our new crewmates / witnesses to Daryl's death with us when we talk to the magistrate so that they can confirm our story.
Speaking of...
Speaking of, and I'm pantomiming Curly's actions. He's blinking a lot. He's slightly pasty-faced. He's like, yeah, like Connor said, speaking of, we went back for, Daryl.
We took Daryl with us.
We brought him back to town, and we
left him with the bone saw.
And the magistrate, already knows.
I'm gonna roll Judge Intentions. Please.
Sure, it's called
Please,
Sense
thank
Motive.
you. Where's my... Yeah, I'm sorry. I have 2 games of Shadowrun. For the longest time, it was Pathfinder taking over Shadowrun, and now it's Shadowrun taking over Pathfinder. What is my sense motive? I have it. I know I do.
Oh, I got a 24.
Whoa! I got a 13.
Yeah, man, they don't seem to...
I don't have Bastianus' sheet, so...
They don't seem to have a problem, or they don't seem to be hiding anything. Kodrog, they're like, yeah, we brought him back with us, and you're like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. They would bring them back, because that way, we didn't have to do any of the extra work. We didn't have to hire anybody. This is great.
As far as it goes for Curly's actions, he's lost a lot of blood, and he's been drinking a lot, so it's really affecting him heavily. So he needs food.
Yeah. Thomas will look at Kodrog again and be like, they need to be on the ship. As much as I would like to have, or at least he needs to be on the ship, and I'll point to the one with the arrow through his eye.
So I'll lean over and put one arm around each Connor and Curly and say, well, as long as the magistrate has your official testimony, I guess it's safe for you to go back to the ship.
Bastianus will pop up and be like, well, if only one of them needs to go back to the ship, I can handle that.
Thomas just nods and goes, all right, if you want to do that.
Not a problem. I mean, he's not going to run off or anything, and he definitely needs to go to the doctor.
Exactly. Thank you. And food in his stomach.
Yeah, when you say food, the guy's like, oh, yeah, we haven't had rations. We haven't eaten since yesterday. And Connor will say,
yeah, we didn't get nothing.
We didn't even get paid.
Oh, well...
We told them that you would pay for our drinks.
We did.
Thomas isn't. He just goes, "That's fine. Just go to the ship, get food." And
we didn't want to push it with full meals.
Now, wait. If we're buying their drinks, should we not share one with them?
Oh, yeah. Curly will
Yeah.
give it. That sounds like a fine. I mean, if you don't mind buying maybe a bit of bread or something, a scrap of cheese, I'd be good with that.
I'll fix you right up, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna dart off. I'm gonna dart off to go get a round of dwarven ales for everyone.
Starting off, Thomas is like, and he's gone. Like,
So fast.
Running out the clock.
All right, and as Kodrog takes off to the bar, we are going to take off for our short 10-minute break.
yeah.
Woo!
So in about 10 minutes, we shall be back. It can be less, but mostly it's just going to be 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
with that, see y'all
We'll
in a bit.
BRB.